So if you have an MPC, whether it's MPC 1, Live, Keys, or even X, you know that the MPC excels when it comes down to sampling. It's an awesome sampler, very powerful. There's actually many ways to sample into your MPC. I have my MPC Live, my record, and my SP1200 right next to me, and just go over some methods of sampling. If you're new to the MPC, I'm sure this video is going to be very helpful when choosing what way you're going to sample into your MPC. Now, before we jump into it, I do want to remind you, if you are in need of any audio equipment, whether they're speakers, an MPC, cables, microphone, go down to the link of my video, which I have a list of some of my favorite audio recording or beat making gear that I use. Anything you see me using within my videos, go down to the link of this video, check out Zounds, or even if you want to purchase anything else that I might not be using, use my link. It really does help out my channel without costing you anything. They do not check your background. They don't run your social security number. They simply ship out the product to you and you set up a payment plan with them. And also, before we go any further, I do want to say thank you to today's sponsor. DistroKid makes music distribution fun, easy, with unlimited uploads, and artists get to keep 100% of their royalties and earnings. A million plus artists rely on DistroKid to get their music into Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tilda, Instagram, and all of the major streaming services. And now with mobile music distribution, you have so many features you could do right from your phone, such as being able to upload new releases, see your DistroKid bank and withdraw earnings, being able to view and share hyperfollow links, and also if you need to edit any details of your account, you no longer need to be on a computer. And of course, you got many more features being able to do all of this from your mobile device. The DistroKid app is now available on iOS, so go to the App Store and download it. And if you're not signed up to DistroKid yet, go down to the link of this video, get 7% off your first year's membership. All right, so we are ready to start sampling. I actually have a record right here. I know exactly the song that I'm going to sample, so I already have an idea. I know it's going to work, but I also have my SP1200, which I have some drums that I queued up right here. And I put a groove right here at 90 beats per minute, and this is what I have. Now, this is at 90 beats per minute. I'm not used to 90. I'm always at 70 or 80, 85, the fastest. But I wanted to switch things up and go up to 90. I want to record that drum break or that drum loop into my MPC. Now, since I'm going to just bring that straight audio from the SP1200, I already sequenced it right here using the sequencer. I'm not going to chop it up into quarter notes or anything. I'm not doing any chopping. I'm just going to record audio into the MPC. When it comes down to drum breaks or anything like this, I simply just create a track, which I already created, SP1200 at 90 beats per minute. I go directly into my recorder. Once I'm right here, you have 4 different ways to sample into your MPC. You might be asking, like, why would I use tap versus sample versus slice? They all have their own unique function. For something like this, I would just record in sample mode. What this is going to do is just going to sample any audio you bring into your MPC, and whenever you hit stop, it's going to stop sampling, and it would just have your perfect whatever piece of audio that you sampled into your MPC. Now, once we start sampling our record and we're ready to start chopping up, I'm going to go over some of these different functions. So right now, I'm going to put my threshold, make sure my threshold is set to around -30. Now, before I hit record, I do want to set my recording levels. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play on the SP1200 and make sure I'm peaking at about -3 to -9 dB. All right, so now that I have my threshold and I have my gain level set, I just hit arm and it's ready to record. It's not recording anything, but it's ready to record. As soon as I hit play and audio passes this threshold, it's going to start recording. That's it. I recorded about 2 bars of this drum break. I'm gonna go ahead and name this sample SP1200, 90 beats per minute, hit do it. Now it's going to ask me, do I wanna start truncating this? I wanna go into the sample editor and start chopping this up. Since it's just a 2-bar loop, I don't have to do any slicing or any chopping. I set the threshold, so it started me right on the transient of this drum break. I don't have to do no adjustment or trimming. I don't want to go into the sample edit page because it's a waste of time for me. I'm ready to start laying this down on the grid. So instead of going into the sample editor, I'm going to just assign this to a specific pad. It's just asking me which track do I want to assign this sample to. I have that track number 1, which I already had named it SP1200 drums, and it's going to ask me down here which pad do I want to assign this to. I'm going to assign it to pad 1. Any pad I select, it just switches the pad number. I'm going to put it in pad 1 and then hit keep. All right, now we go to our main page, and when I select pad number 1, I already have that drum loop right there on that pad. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm explaining things, but when I'm not filming and I'm just working, this is very fast. Again, I don't want to jump into the sample edit page. It's a waste of my time. I'd rather just sample into a pad, and right when it's in a pad, I'm already at 90 beats per minute and I can lay that down on the grid. And just like that, now that I'm done with that, I jump into track number 2. Again, I don't have to go into no other pages. I can stay right here within my main page. And since I already know this sample is going to work, I don't have to jump into any other pages and figure things out. I just want to start sampling right from my main page. So now that I'm in track number 2, I already named it vinyl because I'm going to sample right here from my vinyl player. I go directly into my sampler or the record button. And once I'm right here, I don't want to sample using the sample function. Because the reason why I don't want to do this is because as soon as I sample this record, it's then going to shoot me into my sample edit page, and then right there I have to start chopping up. That's cool, but if I already know how I'm going to chop this up, I don't want to jump into that sample edit page. As a matter of fact, there's so many beats that I put together, at the end of the beat, I never go into the sample edit page because they got different functions right here, like slice mode. They have pad tap. What these will do, slice mode, is just as soon as I hit a pad, it starts sampling into that pad. Then I select the second pad, it creates a chop and goes to the second one, and then the third and the fourth. So it's just moving and sampling into these pads as I'm selecting them. That is cool, being in the slice mode. But then we have my favorite one, which is pad tap. What is the difference between pad tap and slice? Well, pad tap is really letting you go hands-free and sample exactly however you want. So for an example, let me go ahead and drop the needle and show you how I would use pad tap. I'm gonna stop. Even though I'm stopping, the record is still playing. And as the record is still playing, I'm gonna go to bank B. I'm gonna wait for whenever there's the next gold that I find right here. And I can continue. I don't have to get out of this page. I can stay right here. As the whole record plays, I don't have to stop. I don't have to do nothing, just bank to the second bank. And I can keep listening. Keep listening, and you're just looking for seconds within the record. Here it comes. And I just stop that. I can stay right here, keep listening to the record. Maybe at the end, there's a pretty cool outro. Here it comes. I'm just dissecting the whole entire record and putting them on my pads, staying within this page. I don't have to go back and forth. Here it comes. I'm gonna go to bank D. Let's go to the outro. Let's see if there's anything in the outro. Again, I'm staying right here. The song is almost done. I have not jumped out of this page. I could take my time sampling. Here it comes. All right. We've heard a lot. I'm already bank A all the way through bank D filled up, and the song is about to finish right now. And what's really cool about this, as I'm filming the video, you guys probably heard a bunch of cuts and chops because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but in reality, I can just stay right here, take my time when it comes down to sampling. I don't have to just sample the first 2 bars of the record and just call it a day, because I don't want to jump back to my sampler and start doing this all over, going back and forth. No, all of this, even though I'm stopping, is building on top of the already existing program track. So even though I got bank A, all these 16 pads, and I hit stop, just because I go to bank B and I start initiating the sampling again is not going to create a brand new program. That's what I thought back then. I would always be like, oh man, I don't want to create a brand new program just because I want to continue to listen to the record. No, it will build on top of the already put together sample chop program. Hopefully this is making sense, but essentially you are able to take your time, make pauses, and then come back to that same sample program and build on top of that. Now, if this is a bit confusing, I understand. I know there's a lot of weird language with the MPC programs, tracks, chops. If you are confused, go down to the link of my video. I do have a course from start to finish where I explain the basics of the MPC language. I feel like the hardest part of understanding the MPC is just understanding the language of the MPC. Programs, tracks, audio, like what does all these words mean within the MPC? I go through all of that. So if you guys want more information on that, go down to the link of this video. You guys can go ahead and check that out. Now that I'm done with the record, I could just go to my main page, and right off of my main page, I already have this track right here. All of my banks are right here. This is so powerful because I took my time. I didn't have to do all of this in one take. I took my time in different takes. As I sit down, I'm like, oh, I don't like this part. I don't want to sample it. There's a waste of my space of audio right here. I don't need to sample that. I stop it. And then once maybe there's just a quick bar in the middle of the song, I'm like, I like that. I can just rewind it and continue to build on top of that. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, so I'm not perfect with my timing. What if I just sliced one of these up and it's just not on the downbeat? There's obviously a lot of clicks and pops. Like, that's not on the downbeat. I was off by a few milliseconds. Well, the cool thing is that you can still readjust your start and end point while you're in your track editor. So as you notice right here, to jump into your track editor and readjust the start and end points of some of these, because like I said, they're not perfectly on the downbeat, I just double click right here, jump into my track editor, and I can start zooming in right out of this page and start readjusting the start and end point of these chops. Now, you do have a lot more flexibility doing this, adjusting the start and end point while being in the sample edit page. I feel like right here, I don't have snap to zero. What is snap to zero? Is just as I'm adjusting the start point of these locators on where I want to start that sample, there's going to be some clicks and pops, and it's nearly impossible for me to zoom in all the way and get it right on the zero line to eliminate those clicks and pops. Well, I don't really care about the clicks and pops right now as I'm adjusting it. I just want to make sure that I'm right on the downbeat. And in order for me to get rid of all those clicks and pops without having zero snap engaged, I can just, if you notice, there's a lot of clicks as I trigger those pads. But if I want to get rid of all those clicks, I go to my envelope, and right here on my envelope, I hit this little tier icon and I go to all, hit close, and I just go to my attack and bring it up to about 1. And now there is no clicks and pops. Now I have my perfectly chopped up sample chops that I created. Now, I know I'm filming the video, I'm explaining the process, but believe me, when you're in your zone and you're just listening to a record and you're ready to start chopping it up, this goes by so fast. I don't even notice that I'm doing these minor adjustments because it takes me a few seconds where I can just focus a lot more on the creative side, on coming up with different sequences, on pretty much having fun instead of what am I doing in the sample edit page? I need to put it from trim to chop mode, go to manual chop mode, and then start, it sometimes could take a long time in that process. And by the time you're in your main page ready to start sequencing, you're a little burnt out, or you probably already heard that sample way too many times to the point where you just lost your initial instinct on why it is that you even wanted to sample that in the first place. Okay, see, now this is the process where I always say I have the most fun in. When I'm just having fun, I already have everything. I've done the work already of chopping this up. And by the way, if you want these sample chops the way I have it chopped up, also this drum break straight out of the SP1200, if you want these two sources, make sure to download this if you're part of the Patreon. In Patreon, I release anything that I've sampled and chopped up, and also anything that I've created with my own sample packs. I'll have two sections. I have the SP1200 section. You can download those breaks that I have from my 1200, and also the MPC sample chop programs. Simply download those, put those into your SD card, load them up into your MPC, follow along, or just recreate your own flips with some of these records that I'm sampling. At this point, I could just go right here and double length this sequence, and I can go ahead and record this on the grid. Let's put this in sequence number 2, hit do it. And in sequence number 2, maybe we can come up with a whole different variation. Go into this grid editor, select all, let's cut this whole entire take, and maybe I can go to different banks and see what else we can come up with. Go back to sequence number 1. All right, so look, if you see me having so much fun, and I know a lot of times in my videos, I don't hold back. I let go of my joy. I let go of my excitement because I truly feel the excitement. There is sometimes where I am filming and I am very tired, and I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm going to film this video. But as soon as I start chopping up records, I don't know if I'm the only one. Let me know if you have a similar energy as mine. But as soon as I start chopping up samples, I hear the drums and I start putting everything together and it blends the way I thought it was, or even better, I get so excited. It's like a boost of energy. And I always try, or I hope that my audience feels the same way. Or I don't know if you guys also feel that excitement when you're chopping up records. It is the most fun, or it brings so much joy to the person that I am. And I know everybody probably has their own escape. They have their own way of letting go or just expressing their creativity. But for me, chopping up records, I've mentioned this so many times before, but it's something I can do all day long. Whether it sounds good or not, if I'm having a good time, if I'm having a blast doing it, is something that I will continue to do. And I'll do my best to share that energy with my audience, and I always hope that you also feel the same way. So listen, I don't want to get off topic, but if there's anything holding you back from feeling that excitement, because yes, I get it, the MPC is pretty complex with everything that it offers, check out my course that I offer. And also, I just started doing one-on-one coaching with some of my subscribers. So if you want a bit more personalized guidance and walkthrough, maybe there's certain things on the MPC that you just feel lost in and you just want that one-on-one. Now, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you took something out of this. It really means a lot for you to hang out with me. Hope you guys had a good time. Thank you. I'll catch y'all on our next video. Peace.